Hey everyone, SW Nation here, and welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here in the channel. I would like to stop and take the time to rank all 10 episodes of Season 9 of Ninjago Hunted, ranked from the worst to the best. Please note that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My list is certainly not the right list, it is just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all 10 episodes inside of Ninjago Season 9 Hunted, ranked from the worst to the best just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Like, comment, and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into my ranking. Also, if you want to get a hold of me on social media, I do have a Twitter and you will see it on the screen right now. So go over there and check out my Twitter for WandaVision episode reviews. Kicking off my list in last place has got to go to episode 7, The Weakest Link. Just like the name of the episode, the entire episode is the weakest link of the season. Now, I don't think that this episode is terrible, dumpster garbage fire, but I gotta say it's one of the most forgettable ones. I gotta say, when every episode that has Teenage Woo in it, you kind of get mixed up on which episodes they are because they are kind of forgettable. The Weakest Link is actually about the ninja, specifically Kai, teaching Teenage Woo how to do different things. And also it's about, Lloyd trying to figure out what he's going to do with Harumi. He's trying to figure out how they're going to take back the city, and they're trying to figure out a way how to do that, how to devise of a plan. And that's what's going on in the Ninjago City side of things. And like I said, in the first realm, the ninja are trying to teach Woo how to ride the dragon without chains, which he does do, which is a very great scene. And then you also have that little action sequence with the speeders. And I gotta say, the entire episode, when you're watching it, you're invested in it. It's very great. That uplifting scene with him on the dragon, that's very great. But like I said, it's very forgettable. You don't kind of remember what the episode is about unless you search up the episode. And also, Dareth, he slips up bad. Coming in at number 9 for me has got to go to episode 5, The Glided Path. I really do like the start of this episode with, continuing off of the last episode with the Sons of Garmadon infiltrating Lloyd's base. I really do like that sequence. That whole little action sequence is very fun to me. And then we go on to the first realm side of things where little toddler Woo is now a teenager. So I thought that was pretty awesome, just how he's rapidly growing and how he's just growing up with his ninja. I think that works so well. And also you get a nice little symmetry in there with the 4 ninja carrying him, with Faith by Woo's side and just Woo just sitting in the little speeder while the ninja are kind of carrying him. I think that little symmetry was great. A nice little callback to the pilot, how far we've come as fans. And I really don't have any big problems with this episode except for the fact that, I wouldn't rewatch it because it's really not moving the plot forward on the first realm side of things, other than just them finding Faith. And I thought that was pretty great with, him having dreams of his father and you seeing little Master Woo and little Garmadon. I thought that all of that was pretty good. I was just more interested in the Ninjago City side of things than the actual first realm side of things in this episode. Coming in at number 8 for me has got to go to episode 6, 2 Lies, 1 Truth. I do enjoy this episode a lot because Master Woo finally tells Faith that, yeah, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. This is all too new to me. My father just told me I gotta have faith. We found you. Now I'm just going aimlessly. And I thought that worked because it showed that Woo is a flawed character. He lies. And that's what I like about the later seasons, even post Masters of Spinjitzu. So you're going into this episode where he has to confess to the lie that he said. I thought that was pretty good. And then you also got, the other lie going on with the Sons of Garmadon thinking that that's actually Lloyd inside of the gi, even though he did burn his gi, but they didn't know that. So it's actually Mistake. Just the entire episode to me is kind of like, okay, yeah, I probably won't remember it. I probably remember the first realm stuff, but the stuff going on in Ninjago City, it feels kind of small scale than the first realm stuff. As we just had this big reveal that Mistake is an Oni, so I can forgive it for that. But yeah, this episode is pretty good, pretty enjoyable. I just will only remember the first realm stuff after. Coming in at number 7 for me has got to go to episode 4, How to Build a Dragon. It's a callback to the movie How to Train Your Dragon, where Kai literally does exactly what Hiccup did to Toothless in the movie where he just holds out his hand to the dragon and stuff like that. It's a nice scene. I really do love it. I mean, just the overall episode is fun to me. Just seeing Master Wu fly a robotic dragon and just seeing Firstborn show up behind him, I thought that was pretty cool. And also just like, you know, showing how Wu and Jay met in like this new animation style with the new designs. I thought that was pretty great. Also, I totally forgot that Master Wu even met Jay. Like, they even showed the flashback of Master Wu meeting Jay inside of this season. I had totally forgot that when I watched it and when I had to do my tribute. So, yeah, this episode is just fun to me. I really don't have any big problems about it, except for the fact that, okay, the ninja are captured by the Dragon Hunters. The Dragon Hunters should be watching the ninja 24/7 because the ninja are taking parts from their vehicles and stuff like that and giving them to Cole and Wu. Now, I can understand if Cole and Wu are like sneaking in there getting little parts and stuff like that. But if it is Jay, Zane, and Kai just straight taking parts away from things sneakily and trying to give it to Cole and Wu, to me, you just kind of lose credibility on that because the Dragon Hunters are the ones that captured them. The Dragon Hunters know that they are elemental masters. They should be watching them. But I mean, I digress because like I said, the episode is just fun. I find that the only thing that really matters to me, honestly, is the stuff that's going on in the first realm. The stuff that's going on in Ninjago City, I could care less about, and I know I should care more about the stuff that's going on in Ninjago City, but I just thought that everything that's going on in the first realm, I found more interesting than the stuff inside of Ninjago City. Which, I mean, don't trump the stuff inside of Ninjago City because that stuff is pretty fun also. Just not as interesting as the first realm. At number 6, I have episode 2, Iron and Stone. After that great first episode, I mean, going into this one, I just found myself really entertained. Like, I was into the season the moment that, you know, we saw that first episode. And with episode 2, I mean, I just thought that, wow, this episode is actually pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The only reason why it's lower is because I find that other episodes are just as important. In fact, more important and better than this episode. But I mean, yeah, like I always say, don't get me wrong, these episodes are great in their own way. Just like this episode. I love just seeing, you know, Wu and Cole trying to sneak into there to try to help the ninja out while they're inside of the dragon cage. Just, it's something cool about having the ninja being captured. And, like, they're just, like, the Dragon Hunters are just trying to make them fight a dragon and stuff like that. And then Jay, he's doing his little funny things, his little funny one-liners. So, again, the stuff on the first realm, way more interesting. For the first couple of episodes of this season, like I always say, the first realm stuff is a lot better than the Ninjago City stuff. And speaking of the Ninjago City stuff, when we get back to Ninjago City, and then we have the Elemental Masters come into play, Skylar has to recap the names and stuff, and, like, I know, I get it, it's for the fans who just came in from the movie, but come on, they could have learned those names online, and that's one of the things that I kind of, like, I didn't really pay much attention to it the first time I saw it, because I was like, okay, they're just introducing the characters, but I'm like, wait, no, Dareth was on that island, Lloyd was on that island, Neo was on that island. Misako was not on the island, but they came to the Samurai X cave. So why are we... And Pixel was inside of Zane while he was on the island. So why are we recapping the names to these characters? Like, okay, I don't get it. Like, okay, you obviously know Skylar, but you don't know the other Elemental Masters? Like, that's so weird. But, I mean, you know, sometimes they do know them, sometimes they don't. Like, Lloyd asks, where's the Master of Form or something like that. And then, you know, they answer that question. But I'm like, okay, Skylar, you just introduced the Elemental Masters to Lloyd. I get it. They wanted the new fans from the movie to not be confused. I get it, obviously. But that is pretty frustrating. Also, they kill off Mr. E. And I like Mr. E. Real quick, before I get into my top 5 list, I'd like to take the time to say that if you are a fan of Ninjago, which you probably are, that's why you're watching this video, click that playlist up above for everything Ninjago related that I have on my channel. Also, you may have realized that I did upload my tribute for 10 years strong for Ninjago, and I also have a Twitter, which you can check out in the link down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into my top 5. Kicking off my top 5 list has got to go to episode 8, Saving Faith. I do love this episode. All of my top 5, I do love these episodes to a certain degree. Like, this episode, I can't really find any big problems with it except for the 2 Harumi stuff. Now, I get it. I get the plan. I know what the plan was. But I mean, like, the 2 Harumi stuff, it really didn't go anywhere, and I guess that was only to reveal Mistake's Oni form, and I thought that form was pretty good. I thought that everything dealing with Mistake and Garmadon, the Oni thing, I thought that worked perfectly well. And then we go to the first realm where we have the ninja and Wu trying to save Faith, and then they get, ambushed, and it's kind of weird because they are elemental masters. They can defeat a couple of humans with some weapons, but I mean, I get it, They wanted to make sure the ninjas weren't too OP inside of this new realm, so I get it. And then we also have just Wu just remember his past and remember everything that happened, and he turned into Sensei Wu again. He's not Master Wu yet, but Sensei Wu again, and I thought that whole entire sequence was executed perfectly well. And let's not forget that Skylar was able to control the Oni Titan, and she was able to take control from Garmadon. That was awesome to me. So I gotta say, this whole entire episode I really do love. All I can do is just talk about all the awesomeness inside of this episode. We also get Harumi's little redemption inside of the mix. She does die inside of this episode, so she sees these 2 parents and a child, and it's kind of reminiscent of her backstory about her origin. So I thought that was a pretty good parallel to what happened to Harumi in her past, and then she eventually dies. And I just really do love this episode. I can't really find any big flaws. Coming in at number 4 for me has got to go to episode 3, Radio Free Ninjago. Now, this was actually on my top 5 scenes for Lloyd, where, this whole entire episode, let's just start off with the Ninjago City stuff, which is the better half of this episode. Up to this point, Lloyd has been feeling a little bit down. Not a little bit down. He's been depressed, basically. Like, he just feels like he's useless. He can't really do anything without his powers because, up to this point, he's been so heavily relying on his powers. So when his powers are gone, he feels as though he's not the leader. He feels as though without his team, he's nothing. So I love that. So when going into this episode, and he has this whole entire speech, and then you see Harumi just bring up like the clip of him getting defeated by his dad again, and then just how he just loses focus but then gets it right back and just go on to inspire the people of Ninjago. I thought that was amazing, and it fit for his arc. And then we move on to the first realm stuff, which is okay. We get our first dragon. We see the dragon hunters hunt their first dragon, which is very cool. I do like that sequence. But I mean, I think the part that I really do like is just the beginning. Just like the opening sequence of just like Kai, Zane, and Jay like holding their own against the dragon hunters. I thought that was pretty cool. Everything that happens in Ninjago City, way more important, way more interesting than what's going on in the first realm. But the dragon stuff is pretty cool. Kicking off my top 3 list has got to go to episode 9, Lessons for a Master. This episode right here, what else can I say? Like I said, top 5 episodes. I love them all. I just think that this overall episode, dealing with the first realm stuff, that is the better half of this episode, which is a lot of this season. The first realm stuff is the better half. But I do think that the Ninjago City stuff is very well made in its own right. It just feels like they're actually kind of stretching that story out a little bit just to fit inside of the timeline of the first realm stuff. And then you also move into the stuff with Iron Baron and Master Wu, where they're going into the cave of the Firstborn and they're just getting the dragon armor, which I thought that whole entire sequence was very uplifting, very cool, because it showed that it doesn't matter how brave or how determined you are. It depends on what's inside. It depends on your heart. It depends on if you are a good person or not. The Firstborn, like Wu said, the Firstborn didn't pick the first Ninjutsu Master because he was brave, because he was determined, even because he was the first Ninjutsu Master or because of his blood. She chose him because she knew that he was a good person. In his heart, he was a good person, and that's why she chose Wu. I love just seeing him put on that armor, flying without any chains, flying Firstborn with no chains, and then he's picking up the ninjas. They got their own dragons, they have no chains, and they're just going through the vortex to go right back to Ninjago City to get ready for the finale. And this episode right here just was so great. As season 8 was more of a season for Garmadon, I thought that season 9 was a season for Wu. And I just think that the moment that you see him pick up the shield and the sword, and the camera just zooms in on him and the dragons around him, I thought this is Wu's true potential. They just showed us Wu's true potential. Even though, he didn't glow or anything like that or showed any elemental powers, this is his true potential. And I thought that was handled so well. My runner-up at number 2 has got to go to episode 10, Green Destiny. I'm just going to keep this one short because, come on, it's the finale. It's epic. It's big cinematic scale stuff. Just so great. You have Wu versus Garmadon, and you have Lloyd and Wu versus Garmadon with Firstborn flying behind them. You got the ninjas coming out of the first realm, going into Ninjago City to fight off Garmadon and the Oni Titan. This episode was so cool, so great, so fire. I just cannot express how hype I always am just seeing the ninja arrive at Ninjago City just at that exact moment where the resistance needed them most. And that's what I thought worked for this season perfectly well, as this episode actually helped the two stories that's going on from Ninjago City, from the first realm, having them collide in a way that felt satisfying as well as smart. The whole entire episode just... It works on just having callbacks to season 8. It works on having payoff from season 8. And then we also have Lloyd getting his powers back. Like I said, a big payoff moment from season 8. We have him fighting his father, but without fighting. So it's a nice callback to season 3. Even teasing Marta the Oni and just satisfyingly concluding the stories of both season 8 and season 9 and paving the way for season 10. I thought all of that was handled perfectly well inside of this episode. But coming in at my number 1 has got to go to episode 1, Firstborn. This episode just is one of the most smoothest transitions in any type of TV show that I've ever seen from season to season. After that big loss that the ninjas had that we've never seen them have. Like, we've never seen the ninja lose in a season before. And when they do in season 8, that transitions over to season 9, and that feeling of dread, that feeling of we lost, that depression of the ninja, the 4 original ninja, especially Baby Wu, dying and the Destiny's Bounty getting crashed, the team in Ninjago City still feel that. It just happened. So I love the fact that Lloyd is feeling down. I love the fact that he feels like he's useless. He feels as though I'm nothing without my powers. And that's one of the things that I really do love. I love seeing optimistic heroes fall. And then we go over to the first realm stuff, which I thought was way more interesting than the stuff on Ninjago City. But that's just because I love seeing the ninja in a new realm, new environments. And it's very awesome to see the ninja just try to adapt to this new environment because they never been to this realm before. Now, keep in mind that this episode, nothing big ever happens. But the only reason why I have it at number 1 is because that transition from season to season, just you still feel these are still the same characters. These are still, like, literally, to us, it may have been 5 to 7 months between season 8 and season 9. But to them, it's been like a week. It's been at least 5 days. So they still feel as though we lost. This happened to us, we lost, and the ninja in the first realm are trying to get back to Ninjago City. The ninja in Ninjago City are still feeling that dread. They still feel as though half of our team is gone. Half of our team is dead. And then at the end of the episode, we see the Elemental Masters pop up, which gives Lloyd a little bit of hope. And that's why I like episode 3 a lot, is because the first 2 episodes were all about giving Lloyd that sense of hope, giving him his optimism again. So then throughout the entire season, we see him struggle, but also see him prevail with him not having his powers. And it all starts with this episode. Same goes for the ninja and Wu. We see Little Master Wu, from this little toddler, from this baby in season 3 to this toddler to a teenager at the end of this season, and it all starts with this episode. So Firstborn, episode 1, it has the best transition. The characters are still the same. Everything that happens inside of this episode is enjoyable because you get to see new environments and new things. It has to come in at number 1. Alright guys, that was it for the ranking. Please note that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. My list was certainly not the right list, it was just my list. And you're free to comment down below your ranking of all 10 episodes inside of Ninjago Season 9, hunted, ranked from the worst to the best just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Please note that I do have a Twitter and you will see it on the screen right now. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.